So for someone that's upset and tired, I'm just gonna go on record and say you look great. You have a great attitude. I mean, happy Saturday to you, beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It would be much better if I had my coffee with me right now, but it's okay. Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's doing fantastically. Today, well, actually, it's a long weekend. So I know folks are out there exploring the world. So, yay. Good for you. I'll be exploring afterwards.
So let's talk about this. Why are you so tired, Raquel?
Oh my goodness. Well, given the fact that I haven't really like sat down with my family and had like a really nice dinner, it just happened yesterday. Was just taking my girls to their dads, and then my family was just like, "Hey, come on over. We have some food." And I'm like, "Sure." And then food to drinks, and yeah. So I had a little family fun last night, and I needed that, to be honest with you. So I'm a little tired, and I need my coffee.
Yeah. Let's talk about why one is tired in the morning. And if I recall, because someone may have overslept once and missed the show entirely. Thank
Yeah.
goodness you know what you're doing. But I think this is my turn to just jostle, just tease you just a little bit, josh you a little bit,
I
beautiful.
see that. I see that you're teasing me for sure, but
Okay,
yes.
folks, I have to share this because it's so cute and it cracked me up. So I get this video late last night, and I get this. I promise you, I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be good. And so I tried to do a screenshot, just a screenshot, and I couldn't get her face and that bottle that she's showing me
That is hilarious.
stationary at the same time. It was either or. So I opted to have her face be somewhat clear and the branding of that company because who knows if Sippy Sips, we're just going to be respectful, but it is cold with the pig. So, yes, when you get a video text from your client telling you that they'll be ready for their 10 a.m. live stream, congratulations, Rocky.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
thank you. I didn't know this was called Saturday Shenanigans, madame, but yes, I am right here, live and well, and, I had a lot of fun with my family. We haven't had one of those, evenings in a long time, so needless to say, it filled my spirit. I needed it, so it was fun.
No, you know what though? That is good because you know what? When you can enjoy your family truly, especially on a weekend like Memorial, where there are
Yes,
family members who did sacrifice their all for our country. Thank you very much, by the way.
thank you.
Definitely nothing but love and respect for our folks that have served and gave their biggest sacrifice. So thank you, family, um,
Thank you.
for allowing us this moment. So. Um,
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that. And I was going to give, like I said, my thanks as well as we move on to the show. But how about we just run the intro and get it started?
All right, lady, let's kick this off. Wait, should I say it loudly? Or are you okay? Are you okay for me to say that? Lady! Just
Well, you know
kidding.
what? My coffee just arrived. Isn't that amazing? So,
Perfect timing.
voila. If I'm going to try to hop back in here, but yes, roll the intro, my dear.
I will.
Hey y'all, welcome to my corner. This is your girl Raquel, aka Raki. Step into our world of connections where I'm a proud Hounds of Business Pack leader, which is a community of entrepreneurs committed to sharing positivity, growing together, and never forgetting to inject some fun. Get to know amazing people in this safe space, so come and join me in my connection corner.
Ooh, look at you.
Voila, and we're back.
Just in time. I'm the one that's dancing. I know you were like, I got my coffee and you're putting your earplug in. That's
Oh my
funny.
gosh, this was like the funniest mornings ever. I usually make my own coffee and stuff, but today I just been running late. I have a very important event to go to later this evening. Therefore, haha, I'm like all dolled up already. But yeah, so I'm running late, and I'm like, I need a coffee. I didn't have time to go pick it up, so I ordered it. And yeah, they were late. I was like, I do have a live stream in like 10 minutes, so I can't. I need it now. Son
Yeah,
is
but
like
but
such a
girl,
brat.
explain why your driver was hella late.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the driver was late because as she was getting the order, she got I guess her car got hit. So I'm like, okay, I understand. Well, I wasn't empathetic enough
You
according
understood,
to
but I
Steve.
heard you on the phone. You're like, yeah, well, if you get here, then whenever you get here, I'm like, oh my God, the poor person. Probably has whiplash or something.
I'm over I'm over hey, y'all, it was a really nice morning this morning, so I'm like, I'm not trying to, mess it up for anyone, but this is it's so funny that you're picking these things up, and I'm like, "Raquel, you're not like that." I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Well, good. Well, I am so glad that your today's show is gonna be with amazing women that will, like,
Yes.
re-level set and, I don't know, pull up that gratitude again. Because I'm right there with you. I can imagine of, like, "I want my coffee. Where's my coffee? I'm going live." No, I get it. I
Yes,
get it.
yes, but no, it's so funny, y'all. But this is what you get. Like I said, life happens, things happen, so we just have to roll with the punches. So, coming from a wonderful afternoon that I had an evening with my family, and I know this today is going to be even better with actually the guests that we have lined up. So let's start getting some shout outs to the people who are showing up. I'm super excited always to see your wonderful names pop up. Hey, Gail, look, your book is there. There's your book.
Right
We love
there.
it.
You got your
Yes.
book.
Yes.
Andrew,
Mhm.
by the way, Andrew Bennett. Okay, thank you. The way I roll my R's. Can I just tell you, I can't, and this is why it's gonna be Adriana, because I cannot do the DR. It is like my sister told me. She goes, "It's actually borderline like racist the way you say it." She's like, "You're so messing it up." She's like, "Just please don't do it anymore." So per my sister's request, it's Adriana. Sorry, ladies.
Well, I'll do
She's like, "You're so aggressive when you do the R roll." I'm like,
well, at least you don't sound like Terminator like Mr. Mike. Raquel. Oh my god.
Raquel.
I'm like, "Where's the T in that?" It's like, Raquel. I'm like, "Where is the T in that, Mr. Sir?" But,
Um,
we're talking about him. Oh my gosh. Is your camera out of focus, girl?
Mine's in
Yeah.
focus.
Okay, maybe it's just the
Or at least, or
bandwidth.
unless it's I don't know, unless the, bandwidth is not working out, but
No, probably it's the
B
bandwidth.
is it Coetzee?
Hmm?
B Coetzee, thank you so much for joining,
Oh,
great to be here, and then,
thank you.
this is gonna be a test on, like, our ability to say names here. Khalil Ghani,
Khalil Ghani. Hi, thank you so much for joining us.
I see you in the magic mirror, Dr. Constance.
Hi, Dr. Constances. We love you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know you were here a few weeks ago, and thank you so much for doing that. It's so much fun. I rewatched the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they did so great. I love it. Hi, Mr. Dale. Thank you so much for stopping by. Look, that yes, I did. Okay, Restream didn't work on LinkedIn, but we made it. Huh?
You know
What
what? We
happened?
we actually had that problem with one of our guests as well, so there you go. So it might be a LinkedIn issue.
Oh,
I prefer blame it on LinkedIn.
okay. Yeah, blaming. I mean, we'll definitely blame it on LinkedIn. They get so glitchy lately. They've been glitchy. Hi, Felipe. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh my gosh, yes, you caught us when we were in our hysterics. Hi, is Emo? Imo?
Emo?
Emo? Nice to
Oh.
see you here. Thank you so
Stephen
much for
Ang, I
stopping
hope you're
by.
watching from bed, sir, and I hope you're getting
Yes.
better soon. Feel better soon.
It's a long weekend, so take plenty of rest for sure. Thank you so much for being here, Stephen. I appreciate you. And shout out really quick to Brian, Dr. Brian Sagre, and Kofi Duhaji. They are on Donald Cohen's show.
Right now.
We would be there to love. So sending you all the shout outs and the positive vibes that we can. But we're here. So let's just get to it. So a couple of things before we get to our guests. Let's go ahead and run the sponsors. Who is our
Yes, yes,
first
yes. So,
one?
well, of course, we've already mentioned him, so we'll just do it again.
Of course, because he's needy. Remember, we've
Oh
already
my God, needy,
established this.
greedy baby indeed.
So, our fearless leader, as I always like to say, Mr. Mike Asherbrenner, in his House of Business Happy Hour. He has his own show every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, 6 p.m. Central Time. I always mess that up, Sia.
You know what? There's beauty in imperfection, beautiful. As long as everyone gets the time zone right, right? 7
Yes.
p.m. EST.
EST. So, Mr. Mike is also, besides being an amazing leader as he is a well, he calls himself the Redneck Financial Coach and LinkedIn Coach as well. So he can help you with so many different aspects in your life. So, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Without you, we would not be here today. And I always like to say that, and I do mean it. Biggest community and the most amazing community that we can be a part of is, the Hounds. If you haven't heard of the Hounds, where have you been? Seriously.
Well, it is a great community, and it truly is a community, and I will say it over and over again, it is truly a community. We actually support one another. We take each other's 3 a.m. phone calls or late night text messages of videos indicating
Yes.
that they promise they'll be on time for their 10 a.m. live stream. I
Yes.
mean, that to me is a relationship that's deeper, and actually has meaning. So if you want to get to know
Mhm.
people very similarly that will support each other, almost like a functional dysfunctional family, we're the crew.
There we go, and we support one another. Like I said, I don't want to get on the digression of the Sia rant. Yeah, that's what we call it, right? Sia rant. But yes, our next and fantastic, amazing sponsor. It's been one of the most amazing ones that I've tried. By the way, it's delicious. It's Be My Blessing. This is for Mr. Michael Carr and his company. They have a beautiful, beautiful story behind it. And so I urge you, it will be a perfect corporate gift. And I had one, I unboxed it last week. And so, yes, I have it right there and it's so cute. And we also, you know what, which I didn't show last time, we have the little one, the little bear. Look at that. Oh, it's so well. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. It's so adorable. But I tried it and it's delicious, y'all. It would be a great, great gift. So I
It
urge y'all
is.
to follow them. And Miss Tanya Elber as well with Brand Face. So giving you a shout out to thank you so much for the wonderful gifts and just being amazing. So yay. Yeah. And who else is next? Miss Sia.
Tausi. So, okay, so this is Janice Chakrian. What you see behind her head is an actual pillowcase. So Tausi will support any type of pillow that you want to put in of your preference. But what's cool and unique about it is that it has a built-in like lumbar and neck support, just depending on how you position it on your body. And it was conceived because of her unfortunately ailing father. And what she noticed in the nursing home and hospitals was just you can't stacked so many pillows until it's comfortable. It's going to be inevitably uncomfortable for the patients that require it. And so what she did, she designed a built-in support for the neck and for back. And I highly recommend it, you guys. I did say this earlier and I 100% like I believed in it before cuz I used it, but I really believe it now because my mom had a hospital stay last week and I can't tell you like her vibe changed when she saw that she had a comfortable pillow that wasn't, let's just be honest, sketchy because it's a hospital pillow and she knew it was her own pillow. It was just the most like amazing thing. So guys, check out Tausi. It's not just for elderly care or anything like that. This is
Mm-mm.
great for those that travel a lot. So you can actually put this over your chair in the airplane
Mhm.
and then you've got your neck comfort and it folds up very easily, easy to carry. So you don't have to carry those like big, have you seen those big like
Oh
bean
my
bag,
gosh.
like it looks like a
Yes.
donut around your neck? Like this is a much sleeker solution. So you're not
Yes.
bobbing your head while you're falling asleep at the plane.
Yes. I mean, that's great. And it's not only, like she said, it's not only for the elderly, it can be used. Everybody can definitely use it. And I know we've enjoyed using ours. It really has improved my posture as well after my accident with my back. And so thank you so much, Tazi and Janice Shokrian, for your fantastic gifts and what you're gifting the world, which is comfort. So,
Yay.
yay! Love you
Okay.
guys. Yes, yes, yes,
All right, all right,
you.
all right. So, okay, the last sponsor is me. Okay, so it's my company, Brilliant Bee Media. We help clients big and small, young and new, old and young, and all that good stuff, create
Mhm.
digital content. So what we do is we enhance your branding in a way we can do it strategically, simply, brilliantly. If you have questions on how to create your own content where it makes sense on social media platforms, especially like on LinkedIn, for example, I'm happy to help you and answer any questions because I firmly believe that Brilliant Bee Media is all about sharing our lights. So our lights within, if we combine like a community, as we mentioned with the hounds,
Oh.
you get that Care Bear power stare and it becomes a brighter beacon of light and we can all rise with the tide together. So,
Yes, I love all of those alliterations. I love it, but you gotta play the sound though. You don't forget the light sound.
oh, oh,
Oh, yes, you have to play it.
oh.
Nope.
I really forget to label this stuff, huh? Not that one.
Oh my gosh, poor Adriana and Rosales and Dawson are like, what in the world? Yes, this is what you get. Saturday shenanigans.
You
But
know?
no, oh my gosh, but it's fun. We have to inject fun in life. Come on now, we are adults. We adult all the time. We practice adulting all the time. We can't be serious. We have to smile. Jody Lamb talked about that this morning. Shout out to you, love. Smile, flash those pearly whites. Mine a gappy, but hey, it makes somebody's day. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing. It doesn't hurt, and you're spreading joy and kindness. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. A smile. Well, every time I hear someone say, just smile, I always think of that Smashing Pumpkin song, Disarm. Disarm you with a smile.
Karaoke. We have to do
We
karaoke. Oh
should. We
my
should. We should.
gosh. We already talked about this 7,000 times, and we know that will be probably a next edition, karaoke edition. But a LinkedIn user, hi, good morning. Fix your settings so your name can pop up. Okay,
Exactly,
Ashi.
exactly. Well, we've got some folks from Sweden today this morning. So I'm gonna
Oh,
continue. So I'm just gonna continue scrolling folks that are like commenting below.
yeah,
But let
yeah.
us bring in our guest because it's
Okay.
we're going long as
Well,
always.
I know, but I wanted to before we do that. So I did receive something in the mail, which was what I was going to say. It brings me joy and happiness and makes me smile. So I wanted to share that with y'all. Bear with me. My opening skills on these things sometimes lacks, but I try my best. But okay, so today I bring you, and I guess do we roll applause, roll the drums? No, yeah, go. Okay.
I was gonna do it after.
Woo! Look at this. It is Miss Adriana Rosales, one of our guests today. Her book, Feel Your Heart, Grow Rich. So, why don't we bring her right up so she can tell us a little bit more about it and about herself? So, welcome, please, Adriana Rosales.
Hi, beautiful
Woo!
ladies. How's it going?
Way better now that you're here.
I'm excited that you have the book. I had no idea that you were going to open it. It's
I
like a brand new out of the FedEx, huh? Or
I
Amazon.
told you that I had a surprise for you. So here you go. So tell us a
Well,
little
well.
bit about you, and then we dive deep into what this baby's about.
So, yes, my name is Adriana Rosales. I'm super grateful for both of you for inviting me on, and I am a author, publisher, speaker, and I run a publishing company called RMPS Studio, and I've been publishing books for the last 3 years. Before that, I was in event leadership, doing a lot of executive coaching and all that good stuff. I still do that, but my passion right now is the publishing because it's just completely changed in the last couple of years because of AI, and a lot of interesting things are happening within the publishing industry. And let's see, what do you guys want to know about me that isn't already in my bio?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, first of all, we know you are fantastic, y'all. Like I am starstruck. I remember the first time when I got on the phone with Adriana Rosales, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like she is freaking amazing. Like she embodies, epitomizes what a Latina is in this country and our, just the lucha, and I'm going to get Spanish. I'm going to throw some Spanish in today. After all, we
I
are
forgot
Latinas.
about you, girl. I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, what?
So,
Lucky.
yeah, well, that's what I said. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, she's like I'm starstruck, like I'm fangirling, right?"
You're
So,
so
I
funny.
wanted to make sure that, people knew of all the awesomeness that you have, all the things that you have under your belt and I know honestly what you're working towards. So I know as we get deeper in the conversation, we'll get to that. But who do you like work with? Who do you serve?
Mhm.
Just tell us a little bit about that.
So I serve aspiring authors that want to publish for the first time and that don't necessarily want to go the traditional route. So those individuals who want to be able to have control over their own digital assets, they want to have control over their books and not necessarily give their intellectual property over to a traditional publishing company that would only give them a certain percent. So I serve anybody who wants to publish for the first time. I help them self-publish. I help them discover their story. I have a lot of great programs online to help new writers write their story in a way that can inspire the world. And I have a different project that's in conjunction with a publishing, which is also serving the Latino community. And I developed this community 3 years ago. It was right during the pandemic where I had to shift and pivot my career and business model, of course, as a lot of us had to because of the pandemic. And I asked myself two questions. One question was, how can I impact the most people and how can I influence the individuals that I believe need the most help. And when I was thinking about these things, I said, oh, well, I've already published, by that time I had published quite a few books. And I said, well, why don't I just teach people how to do that? And then I drilled down a lot more and I said, well, who really needs it? And then I started looking at the statistics and I was like, oh my God, getting published, period. And so I found that it was really sad when I looked through it, but I was like, you know what, but I can do something about it because I know how to do it and I can show people how to do it. So then I said, oh, drill down a little bit more. And then I realized Latina women are not being published. And it was right around the time as well that Lean In had published one of their white papers that talked about the statistics on how Latinas, we're basically invisible in this country, unfortunately. But the good news is that we can do something about it because we
Right.
are
That's what I was
so
gonna say.
empowered. Yeah, we're so empowered to just go for it. And so I started the Latinas 100 community where I invited Latinas to share their stories and initially share their stories and then do an anthology. But something really amazing happened, which was I thought it was only going to be Latinas from the United States. But the very first book that we launched, it was over 12 different countries.
Nice.
Latinos are everywhere in the world. from Israel to Africa to Japan. It was
Yes.
like all these Latinas started coming out. And anyways, long story short, now I'm on the third anthology, and now we have over 17 different countries represented. And it was all based on this original idea, which was a question that I had asked myself: how can I make the most impact? How can I help the most people? And there was a need. I'm filling the need, and the project continues. And I'm excited because Raki, you are also going to be published in volume 3. So I'm so excited that
Oh,
you're joining us. And
thank
yeah.
you. Yes. So, again, I am so honored, and I know we haven't really shared it much until this week. That I am one of the 100 Latinas who are actually going to be published. So, thank you so much for that opportunity, Adriana. I am super super excited. This is something that I've I love that. I know you put it together, and so I'm just like when I saw it, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is coming like true.
Mhm.
It's been one of those things that I've always wanted to be published. I've always wanted to talk a little bit about my story and how that empowers people, but especially Latinas. We live
Mhm.
that experience, and this in itself, I cannot wait for it to come out. When is it coming out?
It
Tell.
should be coming out in July 8th. So
Yes,
yeah.
y'all. So please, please follow. Connect with Adriana Rosales. Listen to what she's saying regarding all the projects that she has going on, and also, for those Latinas, for all the Latinas who are out there, reach out to her. You could too become an author. It's amazing. Like the power that we have. It's just that sometimes we just get so held back, right? And you're like, we're scared. Like, oh, that's not for me. I'm like, yes, it is for you, sweetie. You have a
Mhm.
voice. So this is a way that you can actually get your voice out there, your story, because it does empower and it just, inspires other people to continue. So
Yeah,
um and
absolutely.
you created this, you said, during kind of like the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I had the pandemic hit and I had to cancel all my events. I was doing some corporate events in Mexico and was doing some certification programs through some intellectual property that I have and some proprietary systems that I do, and I had to cancel everything. I couldn't get my deposits back. It was crazy for
My
everybody. It wasn't just me,
goodness.
but like the whole world, right? And so I sat there and I was like, well, I can't go out. I can't fly to my events. I can't do any public events. So what do I do now? And I reverted back to all the coaching that I had received throughout the years. And all my coaches always told me the goal is always going to be to help as many people as you can. Not to make money, but to help people, to impact people, to help people get along and do better in life. So I focused and meditated on that for a couple of days. And then I was like, and then that's how the Latinas 100 project came about because of that. And the intention was, to help women publish, to do it really easy and to do it fast. And so, I guess you would tell me, Raki, right? Like, was it easy? Just like you just send in, your documents and then we put it together. And I wanted it to be so smooth. So any woman, and now men are also participating because we have a men's version, but I wanted it to be like, this is so easy, and the process is so easy because of the technology that's out there, and also for the writer and inspiring author to see that the impact of their story, and to see, oh, look it, I can do it too. Because here's the thing, if we don't do it as a community, unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to be happen fast enough for us. We
Mm-hmm.
have to empower each other to publish each other, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been so much fun, man. I've met, oh my god, I've met so many, amazing people like yourself, and
Yes,
it's
yes.
like all over the world. So I'm just grateful. I'm so grateful every day that
And I
it's
think
awesome.
you hit on quite an important aspect there that you mentioned, Adriana. You said community, right? We have
Mhm.
to live and breathe what we empower one another, and firmly believe in that. That's why you and I, well, besides the fact that I'm like fangirling, we hit it off, right? We vibed really well because you're just amazing. But your effort, everything that you're putting out there, it is for our community. It is for our Latinas, and I'm so happy that it was such a hit that now men started reaching out
Oh
to
yeah,
you, and they were like, okay,
oh
well,
yeah,
what about us? What about us?
yeah. Yeah,
So
they were
that,
calling me. They're like, "That's not right. You only have women." And then I was like, "Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to exclude anybody because I'm all about inclusion." So, um, this for this volume, we're doing the Latinos 100, the Power series, and so we got a really cool graphic cover on it and stuff. And so the stories in there are amazing from all these men. And you don't have to be Latino, because I have several Latino in both books. I have several people that are not Latino, and they just happen to have stories where they either did business with Latinos or they were inspired by a Latino. And so it's been really neat. Like every time I read a story, girl, I'm like, I cry,
you be
because
like
I'm
me.
like, yeah,
Yes.
I feel like, oh, I'm so honored that this person would give me the opportunity to share their story on this platform. Like, it's such an honor to hold somebody's story, because somebody's story is like gold,
Yes.
and it's personal. Like, some of these stories get personal. And so as I'm reading and translating, because I do a lot of the Spanish translations, I'm just at awe. Like, we're all on the same boat, you
Yes,
know?
yes, absolutely. I mean, I completely get it. And to talk about the actual process, oh my gosh, it was a breeze. Like I didn't even, I didn't feel like this was a chore. I just had so much to say, but concising it to like just, a bit of piece. It's really, that was took what time, more of the time. That's what it took me. But
Yeah.
as far as your end, I mean, you did, everything was so fast. So I encourage you, if you are really have been wanting to write, you have something that you want to put out there in the world, put it. If you don't put yourself out, then nobody's going to hear you. So it's worth, I wouldn't say it's a risk. It's just taking, it's courage. It's taking a
Hmm.
stand, and whatever you have to say, it will be validated. I know that when this edition comes out, all the wonderful stories that we're going to read, people are going to be like, man, I went through that too. Or, oh man, I
Hmm.
understand what she's going through. Or they will sympathize, they will empathize. It's compassion. But at the end of the day, it goes back to that community aspect. And I think you hit
Hmm.
that on the nail, because we must continue in empowering each other, inspiring
Yeah.
one another. It's like for us, right? It
Yeah.
is within us, is for us, and we put it out to the world to
Yeah.
see who it serves. So, gosh, I mean, I love her message, Sia. You've been so quiet. She's like, I'm learning.
I'm working. You know me in multitasking, girl.
Yes, I do know
Yeah.
you. But
It
okay.
that also, I just
Mhm.
want to quickly mention, when you become part of the community within our private Facebook group, you have all these free resources where me and a team of other writers, we teach you how to publish for free, how to, you get a checklist where if you want to go on beyond just self-publishing, but you want to do traditional publishing, we show you how to do that too. We show you, the tricks of the trade. We show you about the publishing industry, and there's all these videos and resources. So if anyone's interested to go and learn from a community, and when you're ready to launch your own personal book, your own personal story, your legacy book is what I call them. When you're ready to launch your legacy book, then you'll have an entire community behind you that will support you. And that's the goal.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things. And speaking of community, this is a good segue that we can actually bring in our another fantastic Latina that is on the show today, that can speak to this aspect as well. So, without further ado, Adriana Dawson, welcome.
What's going on, mi gente? Woo!
Oh Oh my gosh, super honored to have you here. You've been another individual that I was like fangirl, and I told you this on our first chat when we had it. But the way you and I met, you were so empowering on that audio that I listened to at that point. So I thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come to the show. And please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and the awesomeness that you're spreading around the world.
No, I appreciate it, Raquel and Sia, and great to join you as well, Adriana. And so I as well have been a fangirl of yours, Raquel. So I am so honored to be joining you and the folks joining in for an amazing conversation. So as you mentioned, I'm Adriana Dawson, and I live at the intersection of purpose and profit. I lead corporate social responsibility for a Fortune 40 telecommunications company. And so I have the distinct pleasure and honor of building community partnerships and directing investments to societal causes on behalf of my company. And I oversee the entire East region, but I'm based out of Providence, Rhode Island. And if I'm a little hoarse, you'll have to forgive me because I was at the Pitbull concert last night.
Oh,
You know?
hey,
Oh,
we love concerts around here. So yes.
man. I was with Mr. Worldwide, and it was all about the fireball last night. But it was phenomenal. So I lead that work, and I'm very committed and anchored to community and people. But when it's time to anchor in your own mental health and sort of pivot from the societal support and impact, and also make time for daily deposits and pour into yourself so you can then pour into others. It's sort of that
Yes.
adage of work hard, play harder. So it was a little bit of that. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, Rocky. I mean, I've got over 2 decades of experience really focused on social impact work. I've been a contributor in that work, really centered in community and people, humanity, across multiple industries throughout those 20 years, where it saw me go from working in state government, overseeing a supplier diversity program, to healthcare, to higher ed, to banking. And now I find myself in telecommunications. So that's what brings me here and really brought us together, as I've been sharing my story as a Latina in corporate America, and knowing that, as far as quoting and throwing some stats out there, we know that at the Fortune 500 company level, there are less than 8% of women of color at the director level or above, which
Less
is
than
staggering.
8%.
Mhm.
Wow.
Less than 8% of women of color in the Fortune space at a director level or above, which is unfortunate, which is absolutely unfortunate. So these platforms and these conversations and these spaces are so critical for us to continue to amplify each other, because the talent is there, right?
Mhm.
It's just the lack of opportunity, but the talent and the sazon and the flavor and the perspective and the business acumen, it's there. It's just a matter of how do we continue to align to it and link arms with community and with you and these platforms to make sure that folks who claim they don't know where to find us find us.
Find us. And I think that's why I brought you up, to make sure that you hit that community aspect, because that's what Rosales was saying, Adriana. Yes, I did this on purpose, y'all. I have two Adrianas, the duo on the show today. So I'm just like, I'm talking to them as their last name. So don't think I'm being disrespectful, but it speaks to that aspect of the community, right? We have to go
Mhm.
back to the bare bones of what really makes up a community, and it's that nurturing, it's the engaging, and it's inspiring in itself. So I mean, you both are such an inspirations to so many individuals, such role models to, like, my girls, right? Because sometimes I look around and I don't see anybody who could be that role model. I didn't have anybody growing up, so I wished at that point I had somebody like you to show me,
Mm.
hey, you're going the right way. Somebody like Rosales, somebody like you, Dawson, that we're like, okay, this is a good place where I'm heading. But instead, I was left to fend for myself. Instead, I was like, okay, am I lost? Am I doing something wrong? Am I the one who's wrong? But I always
Mhm.
knew that I wanted to leave a legacy. I always knew that I wanted to be different and give, back to my Latinas. So I'm just so happy that
Mhm.
I wasn't wrong, that there was nothing wrong with me, and that I
No.
just needed to find that community, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
behind that real quick, Rocky? Because
Yes.
here's the thing, right? And I'm not going to pontificate, and I'll keep it short. But the challenge that we face as women of color and as Latinas is that the system is not designed to support us, right? You just talked about, and I went through the same experience. What am I doing wrong? Like, look at everybody else accelerating in their career and moving at a particular
Mhm.
pace, and I'm still stuck. But
Mhm.
again, it's because I'm a first generation professional, right? So I wasn't part of a household that normalized what it
Yeah.
meant to be in the world of work, and nobody helped me decode how to navigate once I got into these professional settings, because both my
Mhm.
parents were factory workers. We didn't talk about,
Yeah.
like, how do you prepare for a meeting? Why is networking so important? So again,
Mhm.
I think because we didn't have that foundation when we got into professional spaces, we started to internalize and own
Mhm.
that it was our fault. What are we doing wrong? Versus the system is not designed to support us, and nobody is helping
Mhm.
us sort of clarify how to navigate these
Mhm.
spaces. So, I just, while I am honored that you're referencing how we are role models to your daughter and other young ladies, we also have a responsibility to help dismantle the systems
Yeah.
that have
Mhm.
kept us from kind of bringing each other up, because again, it wasn't designed for people
Right.
who look like us.
Mm,
Absolutely. I love
okay.
that. Can I piggyback off of what Adriana said? I love that everything that she said is so on point, and especially for us that are first generation Latinas, where nobody explained to us that how you prepare for a meeting, or how you navigate the corporate world, how you in my case I worked in telecom. And I was with Sprint, T-Mobile, and Nextel back in the day. And only worked with men. And I just, some of the things that I saw in the corporate world, I thought, oh, it must be normal. And now I know years later, I'm like, oh, that wasn't normal. That was total, like, profile, racial profiling, and all these crazy things that now are coming up, right? And what I realized was that for a long time within myself and then a lot of other Latinos in my generation, that we were waiting around for it to be fair. And so here's what I learned that unless we step up our game as first generation Latinas, and unless we go out and we reach out and we mentor, we coach, we show, we model, it's just not going to come. It's not going to come fast enough. Fast enough. I think it's going to come. I think the country is doing such a wonderful job of getting the diversity and inclusion message out there. I think that the country's, is trying, but I really believe that it's not going to happen fast enough for us to take care of our children, our Latino children who need us to really be active and really show up, not in a like a way where if you're a regular American you would just show up, but we have to show up in a much much bigger way, because the gap is so immense that if we don't
Yes.
show up brillando and like cantando and like
Bold.
showing like, it's just not going to make an impact. So it just has to be big on our side, and especially for us. I mean, look at us, Adriana. We're like first generation Latinas. Like, if we tell our story to an Americana that was born here, raised, and didn't have like the Latino background and culture, like they wouldn't even understand like half the stuff that we would share, right? Like the things that we had. I used to work in the fields picking blueberries and strawberries with my father, you know and then I had to go from that to an all white high school where it was almost like the strangest thing,
Right,
for
right.
me to. It was like so the adversity just made me stronger and made me see the world for what it was. And so I believe that it's exactly what you're saying. We do the work. We have to, because no, it's not going to happen fast enough.
Well,
It's not. It's not.
you gotta own your brag sheet, right?
Mhm.
So, like, you gotta own your brag sheet, because we do, as women, period. We do
Mhm.
so many
Yes.
incredible things, right? Family, caretaker, career woman, nurturer, you name it, we own it, right? But we don't often spotlight and highlight how amazing we are, because culturally we've been told to just be quiet, look pretty, and just kind of stand off to the side while the men and others kind of, you know, kind of stand in the spotlight and get all the accolades. So what I had to learn, as far as the strategy that I've shared with my sister circle and my network, is prepare your brag sheet, ladies. Tell your story, own your narrative. You got to be the CEO. In my case, adrianadawson.com. Like, and so nobody's going to share your story. So Rocky, hats off to you, because you are the connection and brand queen. You own your narrative. You do not give that power to anybody else to tell your story. Your story is yours to tell. So, when it clicked for me, that was my aha moment years ago, when I was tired of waiting for folks to tell me, Adriana, you'd be really good over there, or you'd be really good over there. And like, they would try to kind of tell me where it was that they thought I would fit. And so again, my aha moment was when I decided to embrace my swag and step into my brilliance. And
I love that. Embrace your swag.
Yeah.
Oh
When I
my
was in the
God.
corporate world, I just want to share this real quick. I remember watching, because I had access to looking at what people were making, and I primarily work with men. And I realized that the only difference between the men that were making more money than me was that they used to brag about what they did, and I never did, because I was told to calladita más bonita no digas nada. And when I started bragging, which I don't call it bragging, I just was sharing my awesomeness, right? Then I started getting the pain, and eventually I learned. I was like, oh, I'm just doing. It's a lingo, right? That you do, that you have to let whoever you're working with, or whatever teams you're working with, know who you are, and that's definitely a cultural thing that we must teach, and we must let our young people know.
Yeah, you reminded me of something really quick. My mom used to tell me in Spanish, el niño que mama no, el niño que llora no mama, que no llora no mama, right? And I was just like, that's basically like, okay, if you don't speak out, you don't put yourself out there, then ain't nobody gonna know.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I interrupted somebody. Dawson, I think it was you.
No, hey, like, I've been kind of quiet here because I'm like totally loving everyone's comments, and I'm trying to keep up with everyone's comments and share it. But I just want you to know that own your brag sheet. Like, I just want to repeat it over and over and over again. Like, seriously, like, so many people have like embraced it, and they've written it up in the comments, and like over and over again. And ladies, I have a question, because I'm not Latina, but I'm of the Asian culture, which is totally different cultures, but similar at the same time, right? How much of the influence of the Latino culture integrating with American culture have you been struggling to fight, not only just the American misconceptions of the Latina woman, but also your own culture of suppressing your roles? Like, I mean,
that question
do you
is
have
so
to literally fight?
loaded.
So loaded. Yeah,
I know, loaded question, but do you end up losing relationships as a result of it? I mean, how much are you how bad is this sacrifice, you guys? Because I don't think people fully understand what you are going through in that context.
You have to live in two worlds. You have to live in two worlds. So for me, it was, I had to almost betray my own culture. If I wanted to survive in the American culture and in the corporations, I had to betray my Latina culture almost. And I healed that, through a lot of, coaching and therapy. But it's tough to live in two worlds, to not know, not really know if your English is good enough, or if your Spanish is good enough. Or when I would go to Mexico, they would call me the Americana, and then when I'm here, it's like I'm not part of the American culture. The first time that I really felt that I was part of anything was when I had moved to Puerto Rico in the early 2000s. In the first time, and I had been working in the corporate world for a while, but when I moved to Puerto Rico was the first time when the people that I was working with, I was working for a mayor at the time, they addressed me. And I remember them saying, that way they introduced me, they said, "Oh, aquí es Adriana Rosales, la directora de mercadeo." And then I was like, oh, it's the first time in the United States that I had ever felt respected, and
Respected.
that
Hmm.
someone has said my name correctly, and that someone was like, wow, ella es mexicana y viene de los Estados Unidos, and she is la directora, and it made me cry even now when I share it. I'm like, because it was such a
Yeah.
beautiful moment, and I was born and raised here, girl, in the United States, and I had never felt part of the United States until I was in Puerto Rico in that moment. So you can just
Wow.
imagine, like when you say what the struggles are, it is an internal struggle. It is a struggle that I think that most people don't understand, because there's something inside of you that you I don't know how the word is in English, but it's like anhela, like you want to be part
You
of it.
desire. Yeah.
You're like in the middle, like you're in the middle. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It is a
See,
loaded.
that happens to be too. Exactly what Rosales just said. Like sometimes you have this poetic thing to say in English, but there's no word in English to
Oh,
capture it. So you're just like you default
Oh
to
yeah,
Spanish, and I'm like, Spanish is so poetic, and you're
it's pretty.
yes,
No,
even our swear words sound a
Yeah.
lot better. It's can I
the
just
swear.
come behind something? And I want to give a shout out because I see some of my folks jumping in here. So Alisa Net Rodriguez, I see you. She also is my colleague from my telecom company. But redirecting to hashtag the struggle is real. So let me tell you about that very humbling experience in that struggle. So both my parents are turning 80 this year, and I'm an only child. And so they've been integral in my career because I feel like I'm their 401k, right? They were both
Mhm.
factory workers. So I'm it. So it's also that level of responsibility while navigating both
Mhm.
worlds. To this day, as much as I've explained to my parents and my mom what I do, she's like, I don't understand what you do, because in her mind, and again, culturally, this is not her world. This is not what she
Mhm.
came from, and like, mom, I achieved 10,000 connections or followers on LinkedIn. ¿Qué es eso? What's LinkedIn? So like all
I
these
love
things
that.
that I'm like sharing with the world and bragging about on my brag sheet, and I'm feeling proud about, when I share that with my parents, they don't care about that because they don't understand that world. So it's very
Mhm.
humbling, and it anchors you back in that humility, and it just reminds you of like your place in society, and like how you are just designed and meant to continue to commingle and impact and have conversations. But my mom keeps it all the way real. She, to this day, you ask her what I do, and she's like, I don't know. My daughter she goes to a lot of meetings and she meets a lot of people.
Yeah.
well, she ain't lying. I mean, that is true though. But I completely see where I understand what you're saying with that, Adriana Dawson, because my parents still don't understand what the heck I'm doing. They just see me with the lights, right, with the link, and in front of the camera and talking to the camera, and they're like, Mama, what are you doing?
What
Like
are
in
you
Spanish,
doing?
right? I'm like, It's a live stream, in vivo. And she's like,
Eso.
ay, yo no sé qué es eso, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but they don't understand the impact, right? That
Mhm.
this
Right.
this specific moment can have on somebody's life and in a
Mhm.
community, and for us, for Latinos, for whatever, whichever different country you're from, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, as a collective, right? They don't
Mhm.
understand it, and I don't blame them. I wrote about this in my book. I don't blame them because that's the only thing they know. But I just,
Yeah.
we're in that middle. We're stuck in that middle where we try to acculturate, we try to assimilate, right, between both worlds. I was telling in the chapter that I wrote, I said, ni de aquí ni de allá, simplemente
Mhm.
yo. Is I'm not from there nor from here. I'm simply being me,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel and I identified, and I've actually put words into it now.
Mhm.
Just recently, but all these 30 years that I've been acculturating, it's been such a clash between both worlds. So
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that we actually have a voice, that we're actually being heard now,
Mhm.
because we used to talk about it escondidas in the background before, but now it's
Yeah.
just like, yo, like we need to start talking about these things. It's time,
Yes.
because I
Yes.
don't want my girls to feel this way. I never want
Mhm.
my girls to feel like, okay, they're half Dominican, half Salvadoran, but yet they were born here. What am I already got that question from my daughter. So you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. I love that. I love it.
Oh
Yeah,
my
for
gosh,
sure.
y'all.
It's a
Are
lot.
they?
Part two. I'm ready for part two. Raquel, whenever.
This is gonna be a whole series. What you talking about? This is like an entire series. But
Cheers.
Oh,
here's
I was
to
going to
that.
mention. I was going to mention to Sia that because we're both from the Bay Area, I grew up and have a lot of Asian friends, and it was almost like the similar feeling. And one thing that I love about the Asian community is that they're really big on education. They really are like education, man. It was like a big deal. Like it was big. And then unfortunately for within the Latino community, and I think I'm hoping that it changes, is that we put more effort in like hard work, go to work, vete a trabajar, work in the fields is like the hardest thing that you can do. And so I know when I was growing up, it was my Asian friends went on and went to, Stanford, Harvard, Bay Area. That's where, or that Stanford is. And it was really something really deep within the culture that was embedded. And I think that's been really beneficial within the Asian community. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in terms of like the humanity and the stories, my Asian friends, they experience some of the similar feelings. So
Yeah.
Yeah, if I may interject, in the fun fact for me is my father, when he came in the 50s, late 50s, he actually came over as a strawberry picker in Oregon. And he actually worked his way through, got his bachelor's and his master's
Wow.
working in the field. He went to school at night.
Wow.
And again, it's late 50s, so the curriculum and all that is very different than it is today. But yeah, my
Wow.
dad, like 100%. It was funny because whenever I hear him trying to speak Spanish with his Thai accent, it was just really glorious in his own way. But he always instilled in us, man, like it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter how successful. And he ended up being for lack of a better term, some scientist. He worked on Los Alamos National Labs. He
Oh, that's
he was part of the
amazing.
space shuttle first four. We got to see the landings of the space shuttle in Lake
Wow.
Elsinore, the first four. I got on TV as a little kid. It was fun.
Yeah.
But to go from, like, again, very humble beginnings, having nothing to his name, and being this, like, top secret scientist, it was just
Wow.
extraordinarily humbling. And he drilled in us, education is going to get you out and where you're at.
Yeah.
And so another fun fact is our illustrious host, Raquel Flores, you have a master's and you don't talk about that enough. Help me understand how and where and why you went there, because as a Latina, and I think you said you're the first master's.
Yeah, you're gonna make me
Tell me that. Tell me your
cry. Oh
story.
my gosh. Okay, so
I didn't even know, girl.
okay, so I have a master's and I have two bachelors, and bachelor's in science and healthcare. So everything is health related. I went into college. I'm the first one in my family to go to college, and I went to Texas A&M. Whoop, as y'all see here. So it is not a cult. Okay, I put this disclaimer out there. It is not a cult. It's just A&M gave me so much. Those were the best 10 years of my life. I was able to be enlightened. And I was the first one to leave home in that sense. Oh my gosh. I don't know about y'all, but my mom, like, she locked herself up 3 days prior to me leaving for college, because she's like, oh, mi hija se me va. I don't know what's going to happen to her. And I'm like, I'm over here 18 years old wanting to devour the entire world. I'm like, do not take this opportunity away from me.
Oh,
it goes back to culture, right?
Yeah.
It goes back to
They
culture.
get
They're like,
all telenovela on you.
oh, girl, tell me about it. But anyway, so I was just like, no, I will not let them take this away from me. So yes, I went to Texas A&M. I was there for 10 years. Like I said, I have 2 bachelor's degrees and a minor, and I also have a master's. I stayed there and I continued. I actually finished my master's in Angola, and I did it in Portuguese, which is, it's a random fact that I have under my belt as well. So but those experiences really opened my eyes to so much out there, and I want my daughters to be able to do even more than where I've gotten to. I'm still I've been talking to Dr. Constance Leland. I may do my PhD, so we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, look at that. Well,
Because
dropping the data I just looked it up. Only 8% of Latinas have a master's degree. Right. So again, kudos.
8%.
Kudos. Yes.
That's
Yes. And I will honor the fact that I also hold one as well. So I mean, again,
yay, girl, let's go.
It's
wherever.
not always accessible and attainable for everybody because it's a
Mhm.
privilege, and I honor and own that privilege. So we have to recognize that as well. But no, that's
Yeah, I love
absolutely
that.
amazing.
I
Yes,
love that.
and it's worth celebrating, right? Because like I said,
Mhm.
usually when I this is still weird. I don't know if it happens to y'all, but I was in my head, it was so ingrained that I needed to learn English and that I didn't need to have an accent. So I literally, when as soon as I got here when I was 9, I was like, I promised to myself, I'm going to learn the best as I can.
Wow.
And then, so sometimes, I told myself, oh my gosh, maybe I learned it too well, maybe because when I say, oh, estoy salvadoreña, I'm from El Salvador, they're like, but you don't have an accent, and I'm like, what am I supposed to sound
Mhm.
like? Like, what am I supposed to sound like? Or you don't look Salvadorian. I'm like, do I need to have a pupusa in my head? And I'm like, what is it
Well,
that you're looking for?
well, those microaggressions will get you every time, right?
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
what they
like
are.
we just gotta call it for what it is, you know. Like
Yeah, it
we
is.
deal with these microaggressions all the time. And it's
Yeah.
figuring out how to navigate around those
Yeah.
because if you
Yeah.
call it out too loud, right? Does it put a bullseye on your back
Yeah.
where you're being called difficult or you're being called,
Mhm.
oh, she's not easy to work with? And again, those things can stall your career. So we
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
become very masterful at
Mhm.
navigating these nuances.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. I have
yes.
a really quick fun fact. So
Yeah.
I'm a published poet as well, and I've always written a lot of poetry. And the reason why I write poetry is because my I was born and raised in California, but my parents would take us to Mexico, and we lived in Mexico, and I went to school like a couple years in Mexico. When we came back to the United States, I didn't know English. I had to start all over. It was so hard for me. I was like a kid in ESL classes. They would always put us in the back, kind of like we're the kids that don't know English. And I remember I had always had a hard time with English, and I had a really thick, beautiful Latina accent, and it was literally beaten out of me. So when I got to in school, I was beaten because of because I sounded different. And I remember when I was in English class in high school, um, I couldn't do the English. I didn't understand a lot of the words. It was so difficult for me. But when I got to a creative writing class and I started writing poetry, there was no rules. And I was like, well, there's no rules. So the teacher's not going to tell me that I can't do it like this. And I don't have to have complete sentences and I don't have to have periods. So then I became like enamored with poetry because there was no rules.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've been writing poetry since I was in high school. And I realized just even in the last couple of years that was the reason. It was because I refused to be put into a box and had to have perfect English because it was always so beaten from the teachers. You're not doing this right. That's not how you spell it. That's not how you say it. Or when I would say a certain word, even now, like me corrigen, right? They correct, like
Yeah.
whoever's in the room will correct me.
Mhm.
That's not how you say it. And here's the thing, that poetry allows you to say whatever the heck you want and however you want to say it. And it doesn't even matter, even Spanglish and crazy
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
And it was just a beautiful aha moment when I realized that that's why, like, I love the art of poetry, because you can do that and then also heal this part of me where I recognize, oh, I would look in the mirror and try to pronounce the words correctly because I didn't want to get beaten in school by the girls who would call me this and that.
Oh my
And
gosh. Don't
um,
even get started on that
yeah.
because I
Mm-mm.
went through the whole bullying thing, but you said something that I definitely want to throw in as a golden nugget there. But when I was going through the ESL program, I was in it for 4 years. I vowed to myself, I feel left out. Like you said, they used to put us in the back.
Mhm.
I felt so left out. I vowed to myself, I will put myself back in that game and I will continue putting myself back in the game because my Latinas deserve it. My heritage deserves it. I'm not taking myself out anymore. And that's why we're here speaking into existence, speaking into the universe, because we must do our duty. I'm so passionate about this. I've had this conversation with both of you, Adrianas, and you know how I feel, how
Mhm.
passionate I
Yeah,
am. And
yeah.
I will, till the day I die, I told myself, my children will never have to feel this way, especially coming from us. As long as we can
Mhm.
create that, nurture it, and put it out in the world, just magical things can happen from that. So, oh,
Mhm.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
getting all.
Mhm.
But yes, oh my gosh. I know we're about to run out of time. Think people have things to do, but ladies, I would love to have you back again in a few weeks, in a few months, so we can continue this conversation.
Would love that.
If you're open to it, just because we need it, we need to have
Mhm.
Cheers
consistency.
to that.
Yes,
Mhm.
we
Absolutely.
need to have
Cheers.
consistency with this. Cheers, my friends. Oh my
Cheers
gosh.
to that. And on that note, Raquel, for all everyone that's tuning in, I guess my departing words would be to continue to give yourself permission to be great. Give yourself
Bam.
permission to be great and be a legend in your own mind. Forget about the haters.
Mhm.
We're all gonna have haters, right? But let your clap back be loud.
Yes.
You know,
Clap.
your clap back. Let that clap back be really, really loud, folks. So
Mhm.
anyway, give yourself permission to be great.
Okay, I'm not gonna drop my actual mic because it was expensive, but mic drop. Okay, mic drop.
Mhm.
Tia, I can envision like seriously both Adriana's and me and you going on the road and actually doing talks and events. Do you know it would be like so awesome, like a mastermind.
I
Hey.
love it.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah.
idea.
Heck yeah. Some truth bombs, ladies.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay, Rosales, my lovely, lovely Adriana Rosales, your departing words, golden nugget. What would you like to say?
Well, I want to definitely thank you both, Sia and you, for inviting me, and thank you for the introduction with Adriana. I love your words, girl. I love it. I'm so inspired, and I just want to let everybody know that let's go out and be who we are and empower others. And at this point in the game, I don't even think it's just about being human. Once you cross the culture barrier, and once we understand that we're just as great as everybody anybody else, and that we have our own power, just live in that power and empower anybody, and anybody that you can. Every day is precious, and just do your thing. Be
Oh
you.
my gosh. Yes. Yes. Okay. Another mic drop there. We need to find like a little mic drop thing. See, but
So,
It's a painful sound, and no one likes to hear that.
oh my goodness. Well, I must say, ladies, both Adrianas, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come. I'm honored, I'm floored, and to the possibilities in the future, how collaboration, how this network can help support our visions, our messages that we have for the world, because nobody should be feeling left out the way we felt and
Mhm.
with the confusion that was created as we were growing up. So thank you both for the grace, the patience, and we'll definitely have you back. People in the audience, please make sure you connect with both beautiful Adriana Dawson, Adriana Rosales, and support one another, listen to their messages, get their books, the books. I mean, Girl Rich, and okay, over here, feel your heart, Girl Rich. I'll be posting everything on that just because I love supporting my Latina friends. I love supporting
Thank
everyone, but my Latinas have a soft spot for me in my heart because I know the struggle. I know what we go through. So, ladies, hang in the back. Thank you so much. Applause, departing applause for my wonderful, amazing. I had to cut it because I was gonna cry, and you know me and crying. We don't want to have more cryings because then Randy's gonna come out and say everything and anything. I saw you in the comments, Randy. Thank you, my OG, for always showing up. But on that note, I wanted to just say in a closing in less than 30 seconds. I hope that this program, that this episode was inspirational for you. I hope that you walked away with so many golden nuggets. I hope you took notes, and if you did not, you can always replay it. But I encourage you to reach out to both Adrianas. They are amazing, fantastic, phenomenal, stellar human beings. I cannot say enough on the wonderful things they're doing for the world and the wonderful things that they're doing for Latinas, but for humanity and mankind as in general and as a whole. I urge you today, if you must do something besides connecting and networking, please, please, please educate, empower, and uplift. Those three things will change your life. Educate, empower, and uplift. Enough said. You start applying those things in your life, you will see the change that it will bring, the positivity that it will bring, the kindness, that good karma that we always put out. And always lead with heart. Be kind, lead with heart, lead with purpose, and have intent. Shout out to my beautiful hounds as always. I love you guys so much. I cannot be here without you and your support. Syya, thank you so much for always being here. And I would just wanted to let with the parting words and saying, Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for all of those who served ultimate sacrifice. Thank you for the families who are here. And, we commemorate you. Thank you for everybody who is just amazing. And keep putting those wonderful feelings out there in the world. You just don't know that you're one connection away from being, a life-changing experience to somebody. You can be that person who changes somebody's life. If you also can search that one person that can change your life in a positive way. So don't forget, smile, keep your head held high, and walk with your heart leading it, okay? I love you guys. See you next week with more surprising guests and more individual, more just surprises in general. Don't forget to follow, connect, and share this content because it is amazing and it could help somebody in their life. I love you guys. See you back next week. Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for joining us, and I hope our chat inspired you to make a new connection. Please like and subscribe, and let's build a great community in our little corner where we get serious business done by injecting fun. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, come back to Raquel's Connection Corner.